Well, it's all about the White House race at the moment. New Hampshire's underway. We saw that rout there for the former president, or currently president, we call him, don't we, Donald Trump, in Iowa. What can we expect in New Hampshire? We're down to 2. Haley's not in the running, but is she running for something else, do you think?
Maybe. Trump has officially, well, nothing's ever official with him, but he has ruled her out as vice president, and his supporters really, really dislike her, so it wouldn't make sense for him to pick her, but maybe he sees something we don't. I think you're right, this is a formality, cosmetic almost, until the inevitable, just given his showing in Iowa and the polling and all the rest of it. Maybe she wants to see it through to South Carolina, which comes next, and that's her home state. She's polling a little bit tighter to Trump, so maybe off the back of that momentum, there's something that comes with it, but I think this is all just cosmetics.
Is this about her setting herself up, though? If Trump was to run this time, does she set herself up for the next potential election?
I think that's always a possibility, but as they say, a week is a lifetime in politics. 4 years from now, where is she, where's Ron DeSantis, who else is on the scene? I really think this was kind of her one-shot moment. She is sort of propped up or supported by the donor class and a lot of other people like her, so this was her time, but I would think that she'd probably be obsolete in 2028, but who knows? All
right, Michael, assume we've got Trump. Do we have Biden as well?
A lot of other people like her, a lot of people who are immigrants and people who are great people like Nikki Haley. So I wouldn't disparage her. But we've got Trump, and if it's a Biden-Trump contest, as Nikki Haley says, 70% of Americans don't want that. 70%. And if the Democrats allow that to happen, they're giving Trump a victory. Trump will win in a Biden-Trump contest. And I just think that that's crazy. You know, there must be a way of...
Who do you think it could be?
Maybe the governor of California, but you know, they're leaving it so late that some of the wiser old people in the Democratic Party, James Carville and Axelrod, are begging Biden to step down. I think the problem is the next year will be so serious in international affairs. We have a person whose acuity is not able to deal with the situation.
Yeah, I think that's the real worry. Who do you think it could be?
Gavin Newsom's name gets floated. Michelle Obama is kind of the wild card. She keeps coming back, and she would never do it, I think, through the muddy process, but there is a little provision at the convention that you can parachute somebody in, and they don't have to go through the mudslinging of a primary process, and there are some who theorize that that's deliberate, why he's leaving it so late, but who knows? I think these are all fantastical scenarios. Most likely it's going to be Biden.
Hey, what about this court case you drew my attention to? This could be a game changer for Trump.
Yes, it angered a lot of people on the Republican side, including elected officials and others. So this was a dispute between the federal government and the state of Texas. You've been covering regularly the illegal immigration pouring through the border, 8 million people under Biden. The state of Texas, the governor started erecting a barrier, barbed wire, basically saying, if you won't do it, we will. And then the federal government sued and presented an emergency case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court sided with the Biden administration on the basis of jurisdiction and who owns that land where that barrier was erected. But politically, even if legally that's sound, maybe, politically, everybody can see what's happening with the border. It's a number 2 issue right now. Even Democrats have had enough of it, and there's a lot of momentum, I think, from this issue that comes in, which basically is suggesting the only person who can stem this is somebody in the executive branch who is tough on immigration, and that's what Trump is positioning.
Plays into him perfectly. Hey, I've got to ask you, comments made by Tony Abbott today in the media to say we are not doing enough for Ukraine, we've let them down. We know we're going to bury these Taipan helicopters in the ground. I know you and I talked about this outside the studio last week. I mean, I think it's just horrific. They asked for more Bushmasters. We didn't give them to them. We've got them sitting in garages in Queensland. But also they asked for coal, for God's sake, back in December. And we haven't even had the courtesy, Michael, at a federal government level, given your old party hates coal, to even respond to the request. What's going on? Well,
General Mick Ryan, who is a Liberal Australian military figure, says that there are 20 Taipans left. Now, I used to know Richard Marles well, and I appealed to him, Richard, you're a humanitarian. The Ukrainians are having mass casualties caused by the lack of ammunition. They need these helicopters for medevac. For God's sake, you know, drop the pride of the Australian government, and you're the minister, you're the deputy prime minister. Tell the CDF and the Defence Department, you know, I'm in charge. Send the bloody helicopters to the Ukrainians. They really need them.
And the coal too. How about
and the coal? I mean, do we want the Ukrainians to freeze during the with all of their electricity knocked out by, you know, Mr. Putin?
It's crazy.
Sure, we could afford some coal. Send a few ships, Richard.